pretty.
I'm at
It's
J&B Real Estate, 142 Walkers Village Way in Walkersville. This is the third office for J&B?
We are the second office
You're the
of
second
three.
of the three.
Yes.
There's 3 offices now in Frederick County, which is pretty cool.
It is. We're growing quickly.
Yeah, and I'm with Deb, and she is an associate broker.
Correct.
Did I get that right?
That is right.
Explain to me what a broker means.
The broker is, in our case, Cindy is the owner of, operator of J&B. And as the broker, she oversees everything.
Okay.
Ultimately, everything, responsibility, it's kind of an umbrella, right?
Right.
And so
the buck stops with her.
The buck stops with her. It does. It does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So as an associate broker, what is your day-to-day role?
So as an associate broker, I did some extra schooling to achieve that, and then passed a pretty tough test.
Okay. So you got your real estate license.
I got my real estate license.
And then you had to do additional stuff to become a broker.
I did.
What are the things that you can do that a real estate agent can't do?
There really isn't any difference. There really isn't.
Okay.
So the only thing, being an associate broker, I had to take the same class that Cindy did.
Okay.
Right? I could wake up tomorrow and I'm not going to do this, but I could wake up tomorrow and say, I want to have Deb Gartner Real Estate.
Okay.
And there's only 2 things that I would need to do because I have all of the classes and the license.
Okay.
I would need to change my license. I would need to set up a place for earnest money deposits to go.
Yeah.
That stuff. But myself and our office manager, who also is an associate broker now, we've got that same level of education behind us, which is what it's about, right?
Yeah.
Because the better educated we are, the better we're going to help our clients.
Yeah. How long have you been in real estate?
So I have been in real estate this April. I celebrated my 10th anniversary.
Okay. Congratulations. Thanks. What were you doing before that?
I was a firefighter in Montgomery County for
20 years.
No way.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Wow. Which one was more challenging? No, I'm
you know what? They both have their levels of ups and downs. I sleep all night now.
Yeah,
so.
Yes. Yeah. Right. Yeah. That's crazy. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what made you, was it just time? How long were you a firefighter?
I was in Montgomery County for 20 years.
Wow. Oh, you don't look old enough to have done that for 20 and this for 10. So good job on that. What is it that you love about real estate?
I love working with all the different people. I like working with buyers as well as sellers, but I particularly like those first-time buyers, right? They have an extra level of excitement when they find their house.
They haven't been tainted by owning a home.
They haven't. They haven't. Sometimes
in the best way,
sometimes the wish list is a little bigger than the purse, but we reel that in pretty quick. And I won't take anybody out without being pre-qualified for what we're looking at.
Sure.
Right? Because that's not fair to them.
No.
To have them fall in love
like those
with
house
something.
Hunters.
Yeah.
I got a budget of $350,000, but I'm looking at a $1.2 million house.
Yeah.
That's not fun for anybody.
I can't have somebody fall in love with something that we can't make happen.
Yeah, for sure.
So.
That's smart. That's smart to do too. Right now with the real estate market in Frederick County, it's kind of crazy. So what are your kind of tips for someone looking to buy right now when it's just hard to find a property?
It is. The inventories are still low, and it's still challenging. A lot of times, even though things are lasting on the market a little bit longer, they're still getting multiple offers at the end of the day, right? It's been sitting there for a few days and they go see it and they're like, oh, it's been here a few days. Yeah. We're good.
Yeah.
And, that day, 3 other offers come in with it. So it's still challenging. So, the biggest thing is to work with a local lender, have that pre-qualification or pre-approval already in hand before you go looking. Stick to your budget.
Yes.
Right? Stick to your budget. Be realistic with that budget.
Yeah.
And work with an agent that knows how to get creative with what you have available, right? Because sometimes we can't offer a higher price because then we have to worry about appraisals and, appraisal
Cash money and all
waivers
of
and
that.
stuff like
Yep.
that. So sometimes, we can do some other stuff to be creative
I
with
love
our
it.
offer writing
Yeah.
to still net the seller the best possible
Yeah.
outcome.
Now, do you live in Frederick County?
I do.
Okay.
I grew up in Urbana. We
Okay.
graduated from Frederick High School.
Okay.
And there was no Urbana High School back then.
Yeah.
And then I've lived from Urbana all the way up to Emmitsburg.
Okay.
And now I'm in Mount Airy, in the Frederick County side of Mount Airy.
Gotcha. What, being around Frederick County, what do you love about Frederick County?
I just think I love all of our small towns. I love all the small towns. I lived in Lewistown, which it doesn't have its own post office, so it doesn't.
I know, but I know I have friends in
it's like Mayberry North, right?
Yeah.
No offense to anybody in Lewistown, I loved it there. Thurmont and Emmitsburg, both great small towns with great things to, and even in Mount Airy, right? Even though it's a larger town, perhaps that lies in 4 counties, like there's just a level of niceness there, and hometown-ish.
Yeah. I think that is throughout Frederick County too. I just love it.
Yeah,
I love the
and
people.
you come into the city and, you've got all that wonderful city stuff.
Yeah.
And Carroll Creek and everything that's popped up along it.
I know.
So it's great.
Yeah. For sellers right now, what is your advice to them if they're getting ready to put something on the market?
For sellers, declutter it, neutralize it, put a fresh coat of paint on it. You'd be amazed what a gallon of paint will do in a room.
Yeah.
Curb appeal, you only get one chance for a first opinion.
Yeah.
Right? So make it count.
Yeah.
And again, strategically price it. Don't overprice it. That's the biggest mistake that a seller can do.
Yeah.
Is don't come up with I can recommend a range that we should list your house at. But if you've got some emotional connection to it, deep emotional connection, and you think it's worth more, right? I mean,
you're going to have a struggle. Somebody's going to be disappointed.
The market is going to tell you what your home is worth, because if you overprice it, it's just going to sit there.
Yeah, it is. It is for sure. And I think there's probably nothing worse. I mean, you're trying to find that balancing position, but there's nothing worse than seeing something just sit there and, get no movement at all.
Right.
So yeah, that's really great. So if people want to reach out to you to come to this office, how do they do that?
So they can find me pretty much anywhere by searching Deb Sells Frederick.
Okay,
right?
I like it.
I'm DebSellsFrederick.com.
I love how everybody does their own little thing.
My Facebook is Deb Sells Frederick.
Okay.
At Deb Sells Frederick will get you to me.
Awesome.
Or you can find me at 240-575-1664.
And we'll make sure that all of that is on screen for you. Conveniently located in this shopping center right near Safeway in Walkersville.
Yeah.
Beautiful little space you guys have here. 2 thumbs up for Cindy for the decorating.
She did a good job.
And the choosing of all the little things in here. It looks staged, really. So I guess that's the best thing for real estate as well. And speaking of staging, what is your recommendation on that? So if somebody's moved and the house is empty, what is your recommendation there?
So if the house is empty, there's really 2 avenues that we can use for staging. Certainly the more expensive option is to bring in a stager, right? So that as you walk the house, you physically see each room. Some people do better with empty rooms because they have the ability to envision it, right? And so the other option that we have that you more often than not see is to virtually stage it, where our photographers are placing, beds in bedrooms and couches in living rooms.
I've seen that lately too. Yeah.
And we have to disclose that it's been virtually staged so that you don't walk into the house
and go, wait. That lamp. I really like that lamp in there or whatever.
So
really
there's a couple of options depending on the budget that the seller has to work with, and what we want to do there. So there's a couple of options for that.
Yeah. One good thing about you being a part of the community is giving back.
Yes.
As a former firefighter, I'm sure you appreciate any time you have the opportunity to extend something to somebody else in emergency services and things like that.
Yes.
Let's talk about bricks for Bravery.
Yes.
Yes.
So I am on the Beth Oler team of J&B Real Estate, and we are community is big for us, right? I am a retired firefighter. Beth is a firefighter wife. Chad is a firefighter and dispatcher. So our team is made up of a lot of that.
Oh, wow.
That niche.
Yeah.
And we like to cater to those folks and give back because they're the most deserving.
Sure.
And so for our military, police, fire, educators, and medical staff, we've collaborated with lenders that offer a credit. We offer a credit as well. In a reduced, they get a credit from our commission. We have title companies that discount their services.
Okay.
And home inspectors that discount their service as well.
And you just said you just celebrated your first closing.
We just had our first closing for she is a registered nurse.
Yeah.
And they're over $3,300.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That is an amazing savings at closing, because I know sometimes you got to put up a chunk of change, and to have that $3,300 less for what you're giving back to our community is great. And it's how did you guys come up with this idea?
So Beth and I have always, she being a firefighter wife, me being retired firefighter, it's just something that we've always done independently.
Okay. You kick back part of your commission.
So we just kind of put it all together and expanded a little more to be a little more inclusive of those that serve our community.
Yeah.
We want to give back to them.
Oh, that's wonderful. So if somebody is from any of those departments, military, firefighter, police, educator, and medical, they can come to you and get extended all of those special offers.
That is correct.
That is wonderful. We appreciate that so much for you to give back to our community.
We appreciate them.
Yeah. Well, one of the best things is to work with somebody who's been in the business a while and knows the area very well. And Deb can take care of you with that. Deb sells Frederick.com plus all the socials. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.